Life is a journey seeking answers to humanity's greatest questions. Who are we? Where do we come from? What is the true meaning of happiness? Within the endless flow of time exists an ancient teaching that is profoundly scientific and transcendentally healing. The law of dependent origination, Pratitya or Dhyana. It is not merely a Buddhist philosophical doctrine. It is a mirror reflecting the entirety of the cosmos and the human soul with utmost clarity, a map revealing the truth that nothing in this world exists independently and no entity is permanent or unchangeable. Imagine life as a colossal woven tapestry. Each thread is an individual, an object, a moment, seemingly distinct yet perfectly interwoven. We desperately try to clutch our own thread, embracing a singular self and attempting to shield it from the ravages of time. This is like the demons in the classic story Journey to the West, foolishly believing that consuming the flesh of the monk Tang Sanzang will grant them immortality and eternal life. This clinging and desperate attachment to a perpetual body or eternal soul is the source of all suffering. Yet, even the Buddha, the greatest awakened one, could not triumph over the law of impermanence, anicca. He demonstrated that this attempt to cling to the temporary, illusory self is the greatest delusion of sentient beings. The law of dependent origination emerges as a light illuminating this truth, a declaration both simple and profound. When this exists, that comes to be. When this ceases, that ceases. It shatters the notion of any self-sufficient, independently existing entity, replacing it with an infinite web of interacting causes and conditions. This web is the true nature of all phenomena. Observe nature, a continuous chain of dependent origination unfolds. Because water vapor condenses, clouds form. Because there are clouds, rain falls. Because of rain, the road is slick. Because the road is slick, the person falls. Because of the fall, injury occurs. And conversely, differences in pressure and temperature cause water vapor to rise and form clouds. Event A is the condition for B to arise, and B is the condition for C to continue. This process never reaches an absolute beginning or end, showing that the universe is not a collection of rigid objects, but an immense flow of interconnected events. We are not solitary islands, but integral parts of a boundless ocean. This truth of interdependence is not merely philosophy. It has been astonishingly validated by modern science. The story of quantum mechanics, particularly the concept of indivisibility, entanglement, in the 1935 thought experiment, EPR, by Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen, became a powerful testament to dependent origination. Einstein initially aimed to prove quantum theory incomplete by suggesting that two photons, A and B, generated from the same source would always move in opposite directions. Strangely, before being detected, these photons existed as non-localized waves with indeterminate direction. However, the moment photon A was detected moving west, photon B, tens of kilometers away, instantly adjusted to move east in perfect synchronization. This observation was experimentally proven by physicists like Ali Aspect in the early 1980s. Despite ensuring no light signal could have been exchanged between A and B using precise atomic clocks to measure arrival times, the two photons maintained a perfect correlation. The explanation is that A and B became part of an indivisible reality. They share a single reality without separation. The concept of here and there becomes meaningless because here is also there. The synergy between dependent origination and quantum mechanics eliminates all ideas of locality, offering a holistic view of space and reality. Buddhism views the world as an immense flow of interconnected, mutually impacting events. Conversely, our usual perception is to condense certain aspects of that indivisible universe, thereby creating the illusion that independent entities exist. completely separate from each other and from us. Dependent origination helps us awaken from this illusion of separation, allowing us to grasp the truth that we are never alone, for we are integral parts of this magnificent whole. One of the core values of dependent origination is its complete refutation of theological philosophy and the concept of a supreme creator. In primitive times, humans always sought a first cause for every phenomenon, believing that the wind arose because the wind god was in communion, or that storms were the rage of the sea god. These superstitious theistic explanations halted all scientific and liberal inquiry. Once we believe in an absolute creator, we dare not ask, who created the wind god, or upon what does the wind god depend for existence? Dependent origination is a scientific law applied to all deduction and technical research. If we endlessly search for a first cause, discovery ceases forever. There is no absolute beginning to trace, nor a final end to conclude, because everything arises from conditions, existing always within an infinite circle of interdependence. When asked about the ultimate origin of a sentient being, the Buddha stated, "Monks, the beginning of the cycle of rebirth is inconceivable. The origin of beings, veiled by ignorance and trapped by craving, drifting far away in the cycle of birth and death, cannot be seen." The Buddha did not dwell on the first or final cause, because all things arise from causes and conditions, existing perpetually like an endless stream. Dependent origination is the great declaration of non-self anatta and impermanence, anicca. The arising and cessation of all things result from the convergence of causes and conditions. No phenomenon is formed or destroyed outside this law. This was the first theory to refute the Vedic philosophical system, rejecting the creative thought of Brahma, and instead establishing the concept of self-action, self-consequence, karma. You act, you receive, elevating the human being to master of their own destiny, with no one else having the authority to determine their life. Viewed individually, dependent origination helps us face impermanence without suffering grief or distress. In reality, the cells in our bodies are constantly changing. Every 7 years, this body is completely renewed. This very change allows us to grow, age, and ultimately die. We cling to the self of yesterday, the healthy self or the successful self, but that self has vanished like water in a river. The Vietnamese poet Doan Du philosophically grasped the impermanence of all things. What flies does not wait for what floats. From the me of the last minute to the me of this minute. Understanding dependent origination helps us accept sickness and face death with natural serenity, because it is the immutable cosmic law of formation, dwelling, decay, and dissolution. It tears apart the darkness of ignorance and reveals the light of freedom and happiness. Dian Key clarifies the interdependent arising and ceasing of all existence. No phenomenon can exist independently. In this, that is contained. Every part is simultaneously both cause and effect. When we look deeply into dependent origination, we realize that the existence of our body and mind in this world is a miracle, a synthesis resulting from the combination of myriad phenomena. Our well-fed and happy life is achieved thanks to the cooperation of countless others. Our stable employment involves the contribution of many individuals, and in the success of others, our effort, however small, is certainly present. This comprehensive and positive perspective encourages people to cherish life more and to strive harder in their work to contribute to the overall development of society. But the ultimate value of dependent origination lies in the path to the cessation of suffering, the path of liberation from the cycle of rebirth, samsara, known as the 12 links, nidans. The Buddha deeply contemplated the cause and cessation of suffering during the 3 watches of the night of his enlightenment. In the first watch, the Buddha contemplated dependent origination in the forward order, the arising of suffering, dukkha. He saw that human suffering arises from birth, aging, sickness, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. The deepest cause is ignorance, avadev. Ignorance is not a lack of knowledge, but a blindness to the impermanent and non-self nature of all phenomena. Due to ignorance arise volitional formations, sacramental states creating karma. Due to formations arises consciousness, vijna rebirth consciousness. Due to consciousness arises name and form, nama rupa the initial mind and matter forming the body. Due to name and form arise the six sense bases, datana eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. The six bases contact the world, so contact sparka arises. Due to contact arises feeling, vedana unpleasant, neutral. In the second watch, the Buddha reasoned dependent origination in the reverse order, the cessation of suffering. Where this is not, that is not. Where this ceases, that ceases. If a person achieves complete non-attachment and possesses the wisdom to clearly understand the reality of the world as impermanent, suffering, and non-self, along with the understanding of karma and rebirth, then ignorance will be utterly extinguished. The extinction of ignorance leads to the extinction of volitional formations. The extinction of formations leads to the extinction of consciousness. And so, link by link, the chain is broken. The extinction of consciousness leads to the extinction of name and form, the extinction of the six sense bases, the extinction of contact, the extinction of feeling, the extinction of craving, the extinction of clinging, the extinction of becoming, and with the extinction of birth, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair are utterly extinguished. This is the supreme value of liberation and enlightenment. Dependent origination restores humanity to the role of mastering its own destiny, opening the path to freedom from the cycle of birth and death. If we cannot entirely eliminate ignorance, at the very least, a precise scientific view of existence within the law of arising, dwelling, decay, and dissolution will help us stop clinging, attaching, and suffering before the realities of life. In the third watch, the Buddha contemplated dependent origination once more in both the forward and reverse directions. Dependent origination is not just a doctrine for practitioners. It is a profound life lesson for all of us. It rejects all divisions of class, race, color, or ethnicity, and refutes mass violence and war, because all beings depend on one another for existence. Understanding dependent origination means understanding the importance of compassion and harmony. We realize that the entire universe is contained within every grain of sand, and in our breath is the resonance of all things. Finally, the lesson bequeathed by dependent origination is ultimate freedom. When we grasp this law through right view, samdhya, and right thought, samsikappa, we can abandon craving and clinging, thereby achieving a life of peace and happiness. This is not a fleeting happiness or salvation from an external source, but absolute serenity derived from accepting the truth that all things are impermanent and interdependent, and that we possess the capacity to transform suffering into wisdom and liberation ourselves. Live fully within the current of dependent origination, accepting all changes like falling petals, embracing all connections like the grand symphony of life, and thus finding eternal peace right in this present moment.